Hello everyone! Today we are inside of UEFN, or the Fortnite editor, and we are going to look at the tracking device or the tracker device today. So this is my world. It's called Club Raw. It's not live right now. I don't know when you might be watching this video, but hopefully I'll have it up by January 2025. And I have a partner, Bagnaria, who's helping me work on this. But I wanted to talk about the tracking device because I want to show users or Fortnite players that they can make their own world and they don't need to know how to code or anything. They can just use these Fortnite devices to do things, to trigger things in their game. And the tracking device does kind of what the name is. It tracks things. Okay, so there are different options if we select it. First of all, I'll show you where it is. It's in under Fortnite devices, under logic, and then you should see your tracker right there, and you can drag it into your scene. This one I'm selected on is tracking distance traveled on foot. So this says stat to track. And then you have a bunch of different options that you could track. Events, eliminations, your score, how many fish you've caught, how many props are destroyed. So there's all kinds of different things that you could track. And then right underneath that is a value. I have it set really low right here so we can test it. And then the starting value, of course, is 0. And then we have this assign on game start. So you could assign it as soon as players come into your world, or depending on what kind of game you have, you could start it afterwards. You could assign players after they do something else or whatever. And I'll kind of show you the options for that too. Assign when joining in progress. So this is, it depends on the game mode that you're in though. And I just have those checked because I just want it to start when the game starts. Okay. And then we have the title. You should always label things, have good descriptions, and then you can pick your HUD widget for it. And if you see here too, even in the world, I labeled this Explore Tracker, just so I know within my outliner where everything is, or what everything is. And then we have some advanced options in here. Reset on spawn, what teams might get this, what teams you want to track. Things like that. Show on HUD, whether you want a detailed explanation for the player or a list or both. You can show progress, show the total or the remaining, or completely not show progress at all. And then the completion, I think, is just like triggering sound effects and things like that. Underneath that, you can change the icon that the player sees on their HUD and change the color. And there's tons of different icons. It'll take you forever to go through all those. And then we have a bunch of persistent stuff. So auto saving, so that let's say you only want the player to do it once at the beginning or whatever, and then you save it and then they never do it again. Things like that. Resolving conflicts. Usually, you'll use these if you do have conflict. Most of the time, you're not going to have conflicts. Underneath that, we have functions. So these are things that another device could trigger the tracker to do. So let's say you didn't assign things when you started. Well, then you could assign them here and then pick a device that tells it to assign things. Of course, we don't want to do that, at least not for this one. But there's a bunch of different functions that you could trigger from another device. Okay? And underneath that, we have events. So when complete, so this is the Explorer accolade. So this is XP. I'm giving XP here. Award when this device is complete. Okay, now I can't change these in here because that has to come from that other device. So this is an accolade device here. And if you look at award under the functions, not events, under its functions, you want to award, and then I pick the tracker, and then the tracker has options. So I could do it when it saves something or when it's cleared or whatever. But of course I'm doing it when it completes. So when this tracker count gets completed, 20 whatever steps. So this one I want players to explore around the world. So that's why I have this tracker in. And I have this really low so we can test it. Okay. And then I have a bunch of other trackers here. Like this one is going to track the score of the player. I also have another tracker inside of the club here. I'll show you real quick. And this one is tracking emotes. Now I can't track emotes directly in the tracker. But what I can track is an event. And I can trigger an event with this channel. So the channel is more like a chat channel. And I'll go over one of these devices in a different episode. But I'm just kind of showing you as an example. So this channel gets triggered by a mutator zone. So I have a mutator zone. This green, this green glowing thing, the zone. When a player walks into this zone can detect whether they're emoting or not. So when they emote in this zone, that tells the channel to tell the tracker to count. So that's how that works. It's counting emotes. So you're not just limited to only the things that the tracker tracks directly. You can track an event, which could be almost anything. Okay, so now I've talked about the tracker and how it works. I'm going to show you real quickly. But before we get into that, I want to talk about who I am. I am a 3D artist and animator. And I make different animals for Unreal Engine and for Fortnite. You can use them in your Fortnite builds. So I have different animated animals. They're fully animated. You can just drop them into your scene. They do not have AI you'll have to develop that yourself. But my partner and I, we might come up with a device that you could easily do this. Or who knows, Fortnite might do it too. But you could put these in your scene and play these different animations on my characters. Now I have a ton of different animals, and there are two types. You could use the Unreal version or the FBX version. Oh, I don't know why that's glitchy. But let's go into Fortnite, into our game. So let's start this game. And I can show you the accolade or the tracker device working. You see on that upper left-hand corner, it says travel around. So when I start moving, that is counting my steps. And when I get to 20, I get XP with using the accolade device. So that's a basic description or example of how the tracker works and how you might use it in your Fortnite game. Have a good one, everyone.